Join Mondo's Elite Notification Squad today so Yajirobe doesn't starve. What's up, everybody? For Thanksgiving, we're doing something a little bit different, as it'll act as kind of a double feature to highlight a couple great creators in the indie community. The first is author and musician Marco B and his one-shot Itera, taking its pronunciation from traditional Latin. This lonely, isolating journey is about Terius Drib, a young man in pursuit of his lifelong dream of becoming a Magi, a celebrated warrior who is skilled in the arts of the occult. Unlike most journeys, however, Terius quickly realizes that becoming a Magi isn't about skill, ambition, or dedication. It's about pedigree, something Terius lacks. And in this world, pedigree is law. Armed with nothing but his talents, Terius doubtfully challenges this age-old law. District 5, TeknoAxe. One student asks another if they plan to watch the exit exams tonight. Asking what that is, he explains that it's a tournament held by the most prestigious school in the world, Deus Academy. It's how they decide who will become the Magi's. Getting pumped, they both decide to attend. Not far away, Terius gets out of bed, thinking, today's the day. Everything I've been through has led me to this moment. Grabbing something off his nightstand as he goes to leave, further thinking to himself, my first day at Deus Academy. She told me, whenever you feel the odds are against you and your dreams feel out of reach, wear this necklace and you'll know your dreams will always be close to your heart. He then thanks his mother, because today, his dreams have never felt so distant. While a couple of others practice their abilities, one asks if that's the exchange student standing nearby, expressing their disapproval and his acceptance to the academy, speaking loud enough for him to hear. With the instigator furthering by spouting how he hopes they're matched up in the exams later, as he wants to make an example showing the difference between exchange students and his sentence being cut short, Terius chimes in. And what? You? You're all the same. Explaining that they don't know anything about him, yet they're so self-indulgent that they automatically believe their abilities exceed his own, claiming all they have is their name and how it acts as a crutch for him. Regardless, he's sick of people constantly looking down at others who are different. But anime bullies will be anime bullies, and they don't take this information well. Getting into a short back and forth, Terius simply walks away to his harem of drooling fangirls. But there's one girl who stands aside from the crowd, acting as their contrast. She doesn't understand why Terius feels the need to be so arrogant, saying he's only here because Noah took a liking to him, pressing he should show more humility. Learning her name is Amy, a friend of hers, Yuri, argues that one can't deny he is pretty talented. To be able to perform Vidi Imaginum, or Phantom Image, alone is difficult even for her. But to also sync it with the combat class sequence, Summa Iguader, aka the total oversteps, is pretty impressive, as both of those require a substantial amount of what she calls Newman. Then remembering that both Amy and Terius are in the same bracket for the tournament tonight, but Amy claims not to be too worried about him. In her mind, he may be talented, but he lacks a mastery of any of his occult arts, believing that hard work trumps raw talent any day. And if anything, Terius should be worried about her, while her friend can only baffle at the hypocrisy of Amy's own arrogance, causing Amy to ask whose friend she is anyway. North Wing, Lecture Halls. As the girls scurry to class, a cane taps down behind them, greeting the two, and asking if they're ready for tonight's exams. We soon find out, this man is not only a professor at the academy, but also Amy's Baba, local dialect for father. Yuri tells him that they're headed to the Architect Athenaeum to brush up on a few things, before Professor Fasoy makes small talk with his daughter. But as daughters will do, she eventually huffs off away from her dad. As said Athenaeum, a woman scans their insignias to grant them clearance into the area. Everything going smooth, they're given the okay to enter as expected. Making their way in, they banter back and forth on the actual usefulness of coming here, since Amy has pretty much already mastered every piece of knowledge this place has to offer. And we find out that Amy is just all about that overkill, wanting to get out into the field and find more of what she calls scribes, causing Yuri to blurt out, "You say that like you found one before." And this statement causes an awkward pause. Yuri then reminds Amy that she has to report those in. Students could face serious repercussions for a willful act of omission, but Amy assures her that she hasn't found a scribe. She just believes that it's the only way she'll grow, becoming a full-fledged Magi, improving to her father, that she can surpass him in every way he ever dreamed of her doing. That's when Yuri asks Amy why upholding her father's ideals means so much to her. Opening up, she tells her that her father means the world to her, but he's also the source of all of her anxiety. No one can make her laugh like her dad, but at the same time, no matter how hard she works, or how far she comes, only he can make her feel like it's never enough. Like she's never good enough. But if she can excel, becoming one of the greatest Magi Deus Academy has ever seen, then maybe, cutting off this thought, we hear, "What's up, ladies? Looking gorgeous as always," shouting out for him. And that's where we will also cut out here. This was the first 2 parts of Itera. Part 3 is available now to read using the link in the description box. Marco B typically updates this with new parts every Wednesday or so check him out, follow him on Twitter, and if you like the music up until now, check out his musician page as well. I believe this series has limitless potential and it's ramping up to be very Dragon Ball-esque with the energy-based abilities and all that good stuff, so I'm very excited to see what happens. The second of the 2 IPs we're checking out today is Wretched Souls by Antonio Miller, illustrated by Quickdraw Chev. Antonio may be better known as Son Jikama in Dragon Ball Genesis, but Wretched Souls follows the tale of a teenage protagonist by the name of Kaido. After an argument with his childhood friend, he begins wandering around his hometown of Pico City and comes across a mysterious talking cat who's on death's door. They agree to merge together, and now Kaido must figure out how to control his newfound powers, as he juggles school, training, battling creatures, and the growing urge to escape his cage. But little does he know, a war is brewing, and he holds the secret of it within himself. In what can best be described as a hellish landscape, a giant demon-like figure towers over the area, and it seems though he has a visitor, of significantly smaller stature. The cat asks, "What's the point of this? We're supposed to be allies."
"I grant you audience with me, only for you to speak to me as if you're my equal."
Responding, the feline assures he does not seek to defy, but only counsel reason. The treaty was a step in the right direction for all, and the Pico City experiment has been well for the last 20 years, constituting as proof they can live amongst each other without violence. The demon, though, disagrees with this.
"Lower your tone when you speak to me. I only signed that treaty as a ruse. When the time is right, I shall enact my plan, and whatever you say will not sway me."
Hearing a voice shouting, "Wake up!" over and over again, Kaido, a 15-year-old high school student and Pokemon fan, raises his head from his desk. What appears to be a fairy is the voice he heard, telling him he sleeps in class almost every day. If he desires rest so badly, why not just stay home? Apparently not exactly comprehending human customs, so Kaido merely explains that his mother is not so understanding as her. As the bell rings, Kaido stands to leave, thanking his sensei for waking him up just in time. Heading out the door, another student is there to greet him, Akiko. Undergoing typical, though not so socially acceptable teenage mannerisms, Akiko delivers the open palm of justice, unable to recall when Kaido became such a pervert. Picking himself up, he notices a match going on between yet another classmate, Haru, who makes pretty quick work of his opponent, and also happens to be Akiko's brother, who floats herself on over asking if that was a bit excessive. Not seeming to be the biggest fan of Kaido, he quips, "I see you still follow around my sister like an excited puppy." Responding, "And I see you're still a little pipsqueak," who argues that he's actually pretty tall by fairy standards. While they go at it for a bit, Akiko eventually separates the two, reminding them that they used to be best friends, but now they can't even sit in the same room without arguing, even calling them sworn rivals. Though Haru rejects this, hitting a bit below the belt and saying that there's nothing special about Kaido. He's just a human, while he himself is a prodigy, causing Kaido to about face and leave the room. Pico City. Kaido makes his way about the town as he stumbles upon a black cat. As it doesn't seem to be long for this world, he sits down with it to be there for its final moments, admitting that it's not much, but at least the little guy won't die alone. "Thank you." Understandably shocked at the discovery of a talking cat, Kaido jumps up. "I'm not a cat. I'm a demon." Just when the boy thought things couldn't get any weirder, he asks what a dying demon is doing in Pico City. But even the feline doesn't know. Everything is a bit fuzzy for him. Kaido tells him that he read demons can take the body of others. Why not just do that? But shaking, the demon reveals that he has no desire to steal the body of another by force, as he has always sought peace with other races. So in that case, Kaido offers his. Completely jolted by this, he asks why he would make such a proposal. Kaido goes on to talk about how his father always used to say he would never get far in life without taking risks, calling it a leap of faith. Reaching out his hand and telling him to hurry up before he changes his mind, he gives a little bite. And just like that, a pact is made between a human and a demon. But at what cost? And that was the first chapter of Wretched Souls by Antonio Miller. But you don't have to just leave it on that cliffhanger. I believe Wretched Souls is all the way up to chapter 3, so read it yourself using the links below. Just like Itera, I feel like this series has boundless potential, and I'm really curious to see where it goes. Out of all the indie work I read, I feel like these two easily have some of the best groundwork out of all of them, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear these authors working with major publications sometime in the future. And with it being Thanksgiving and all, I want to thank everybody in the Mondo crew for taking a moment out of their day to spend time here on this channel. It genuinely means the world to me that on a holiday we spend with our closest family and friends, that you would take the time to click on this video, and one that's not even Dragon Ball related, mind you. But that's all I gotta say. Thank you for being part of this community. At the very least, it would mean a lot to me if you could at least give a follow to Marco B, Antonio, and Quickdraw using the links below. And I'll catch you next time.